What would be the worst thing to hear as you're going under anesthesia before a surgery? We're doing the left, right, right. Okay, that's enough anesthesia. He is definitely out now and completely unconscious. Time to start the drilling. Anesthesia awareness. I had to get a bone spur removal when I was 13. My anesthesiologist looked at my chart and said, "Sweet 16, you have a car yet?" At least he was better with dosage math than age math. Because I'm not dead. Not before, but during. My mom was having some major surgery done on her knee, I think. The sleeping gas petered out and she woke up, but still wasn't feeling pain. She heard them hammering and drilling with power tools and looked up to see what was going on. A nurse noticed her, slammed her head down before she could see and told her, "Don't look." Actually happened to me story. Had surgery at Walter Reed Army Medical Center while I was in the service. Right shoulder, they were prepping me beforehand and I was in a bed sitting up with my shirt off. On my shoulder, they drew a large R with a circle around it in purple marker and then had me sign my name underneath it, so they did the correct one. Then they gave me something to start putting me under. It took a few minutes and I started feeling pretty drowsy. Next, a nurse came in and inserted and taped down an IV line in my right forearm and told me they were giving me whatever was going to knock me all the way out. Then they started cleaning my left shoulder with iodine, and the last thing I heard as I was going out was, "You're doing the wrong one." Found out later that a lot of the people involved with the surgery were still in training. At least the surgeon knew what he was doing though, and he did the correct shoulder. I had knee surgery as a teenager. The doctor brought me a Sharpie and told me to circle the correct knee and put an X on the other, then he left the room. So I did exactly as instructed. Then I drew arrows to the circle and wrote "operate here" and drew more XS on the other leg and wrote "do not touch." I sat there bored for another 30 minutes writing random stuff all over my body like, "You can't have my appendix and why are you looking up here? Focus on the knee." I even had my mom write on my back something like, "If you can read this, wrong side, flip me over." Then I covered up with the sheet and the anesthesiologist showed up. I was told that I said some weird stuff while I was going under, but that is a different story. The surgery went fine. I had to stay in the hospital overnight. When the doctor came into my room to check on me, he said that I had thrown off their schedule because when they uncovered me and saw all of the notes that they laughed for 10 minutes. When they finally got their composure, they rolled me up on my side to get me onto the operating table and saw the note on my back and lost it again. He said that the surgery started about 30 minutes later than it was supposed to, thanks to my drawings and notes. Not exactly the same, but it's funny. When I had my sinus surgery, I remember them wheeling me back and going over everything that was about to happen. However, I was unaware that when they do surgery on your face upper body, at least they strap your arms down. Which definitely seems obvious to me now, because definitely no one wants a flailing arm knocking the doctor while he's performing surgery on your face. But they didn't mention it, so I didn't think about it. So we get back to the surgery room. They put the mask on me and tell me to start counting. While I was counting, they proceeded to strap my arms down in multiple places, which makes me panic. I stop counting and go, "Wait, guys, can we talk about this?" That's the last thing I remember before going under. Then I woke up in recovery, and everyone thought it was hilarious. That was the last thing I said before I was out. Now, let's see if I can still make a straight line. Don't worry, sir. I'm very good at these surgeries. Like at least 65% success rate. When I was 9, I almost lost my right toe in a bicycle accident. My mom carried me to the family car, and drove me to the hospital. Before I underwent surgery, the doctor said, "If this doesn't work, we might have to cut your foot off to avoid a staph infection." Thank God the surgery was successful. Let's take the kidney too. He wouldn't know. Let's hope this doesn't go like the last one. Thankfully my malpractice insurance is up to date. That last Jack and Coke was a bit WHEEW. Okay, pull up the WikiHow article. I know what you did with my wife. This one's going to be tasty. When I was being prepped for surgery, The nurses were joking with the anesthesiologist about the work Christmas party the night before. I asked whether I should be worried. They said the surgeon was wearing a hula girl outfit and dancing on the table. They swore me to secrecy. I don't specifically recall, but the nurses told me when the surgeon turned up I said to him, "I hear you have a nice pair of coconuts," before I passed out. It was the 90s. Life was simpler then. If something goes wrong, let's not get the law involved. One hand washes the other, okay? Surgeon 1. Is he out yet? Surgeon 2. No. Surgeon 1. It will be fine. True story. Got my skull drilled to get out teeth. I did not think it was fine. Shit. I knew I forgot something this morning. What is it, doctor? My anti-seizure meds. I'm sure it'll be fine. Hi everybody. Here's a tape being inserted into a VCR. Hi there, welcome to the first video in the So This Is Your First Surgery series. Today, we learn about open heart surgery. Hello, I'm Troy McClure. You may remember me from other instructional videos such as Slice or Dice, an amputation guide, or which hole is the best hole for this surgery. Over the course of the next few hours I will show you the do's and the do's not of performing advanced level surgery. When I was 8, my appendix burst and they had to do an emergency operation. As my brother was supposed to be giving me a hug and saying see you after, he instead said sometimes people wake up in surgery and can feel everything but not move. Gonna go with that. Alright, Sanchez. But this is the last time I fake a death for your organ harvesting business. I'm so excited, this is my first time. For me, during past surgeries, I think the worst thing to hear is falling asleep. Anesthesia makes your hearing distorted, so when I had surgeries growing up that was the worst to hear. It's a horrible sound. Or it, pass me a beer, I already submitted my 2 weeks notice. The last thing I heard going under for a minor eye surgery was beep and a bunch of people rushing around. The first thing I remember after waking up was a very worried-looking anesthesiologist asking me if I'd ever been tested for apnea. No, and around 70 events per hour on the resulting sleep study. Doctor, is this the circumcision or the testicle removal? Nurse, I thought it was the appendectomy. Narrator, it was a root canal. That's not supposed to happen. What the hell is that? I can't wait to see what we've got going on under that gown. You got the lubricant, and the alcohol. No joke. This happened to my friend. He was getting surgery on his leg amputation. I laughed so hard when he told this absolutely godly story. I drank too much. I can't stop my hands from shaking. My hands are shaking. I need a drink. Belt buckle being undone and zipper being zipped down. Okay nurse, give me a scalpel. We're doing the sex change operation a little differently today. I was just in the ED with an epically broken wrist and elbow. They knocked me out with ketamine to reset my bones. Yes, Special K. They said I may have some real vivid dreams. AKA you'll be tripping your balls off. Right before I go out, the doc says, try to think happy thoughts. The last coherent thing that went through my brain was, wait, what? What happens if I can't conjure up any happy thou? Hello, terribly horrific, otherworldly, demonic, terrifying trip. Thanks doc, that was thumbs up. I always tell my patients a compliment before pushing ketamine and they just say thank you over and over and over until they wake up. Good shit man. Give me the condom. Remind me to fire Karen for mixing up the surgical schedule. Now if I'm correct, this is the person donating their heart. Okay Dave, just stay calm, everything will be alright. My name isn't Dave. I know, I'm Dave. Fade out. Doctor, will you need the bone saw for this operation? The OR nurse to the orthopedic surgeon just as I was being put under. I had enough awareness to look over at the doc, who was facing my x-ray, and after the nurse asked the question, the doc bowed his head, took a deep breath and shook it. His frustration with the nurse was palpable. And then, good night me. I didn't even get a chance to say anything. And it was a minor day surgery to clean up some issues on my knee. First thing I did when I woke up was feel for my leg. Thank goodness it was there. Nurse, is this not the assisted suicide procedure for Mr. Oh no. We have 10 minutes before the real doctors get here. Remove all the organs. "Yeah, reckon this'll work. I mean, seriously work. Should we use condoms? Looks just like my ex-wife." Funny story. There is a comic in Australia by the name of Michael Hing. Basically his dad is one of the leading IDRs in the country. Anyway, one day his dad is catching a train home after a long shift and he gets confronted by two youths. They calls him some racist shit before telling him to give up his wallet or they would stab him. He tells them to think about their decision. One of them makes an effort to attack him and he in turn open palm strikes him in the face, basically destroying his eye socket. The other guy bolts at the next stop, leaving his friends on the train. They are all removed and the police come take his statement and they take the kid off to hospital while he gets a ride home by the police. After having a shower he gets a phone call from work saying they need him to come back in. He takes his car this time and drives in. When he gets there he sees the chart and goes, "I heard that name before." He goes near the window of the door and sees it's the kid who tried to rob him. He masks up and get the nurses to prep him, but just as the kid is about to go under he asks the nurse staff to leave and he starts to gas the guy, and just before he goes out he pulls off his mask and says, "Remember me." He said the terror in the kid's face just as he was going out was priceless. As I was laying down waiting to be put under, a doctor walks into the bright white room and asks, "So what are we doing today?" The doctors all just looked to me expecting a laugh, but instead heard my nervous silence, not realizing it was a joke to try to lighten the mood. I was getting a hemorrhoidectomy, an anal fissurectomy, and a sphincterotomy. You try laughing knowing knives are about to be in your butthole, doc. We can probably get away with doing that thing we talked about to this guy. Finally got one. Hold on, was this the sex change operation? From the surgeon, "This is my first time. Like a surgeon. Cuttin' for the very first time. Uh-oh, that edible is kicking in and it's a good one. Yourself farting really loudly. Hopefully he doesn't wake up mid-surgery like that last guy. The pain that guy felt was out of this world. Boy, you guys should have seen how I shit the bed last time one of these rolled in. Why are you getting a new one? Just wipe the puss off with a towel. Don't be such a neat freak. Besides, those scalpels are expensive. EW blood. I was getting my wisdom teeth removed, but I remember being hooked up to a heart rate monitor while they administered anesthesia, and the last thing I remember hearing is the surgeon telling someone, "So you're going to want to watch this screen closely. It shows us a lot about how the patient is doing." I guess the surgeon was training someone that day. Fortunately I was only able to be nervous for like 10 seconds before I was out cold. Put him on a steady dose, I don't want him waking up. I just got my license back. Doctor, I can't do this. I'm a vet. Nurse, don't worry. Humans are animals too. Alright, hold his nostrils open while I undo my belt. WHERES the scalpel. Man, I am so hungover. Literally the last thing I heard before getting my wisdom teeth taken out. I've been looking forward to this all day. Lube their rectum. Form a line. Start the camera. Oh shit. I'm new here. Okay, he definitely has a little bit of weight to lose. There was a meme I saw a few weeks back that went something like, "Surgeon, okay Pete, relax. There's nothing to worry about, it's just a small procedure. Patient, but my name's not Pete. Surgeon, no, I was talking to myself. I'm butchering it since I can't remember that meme exactly. God, I hope this does not die on us like the others did. Hey, this dummy can move its eyes. I hope this is the right patient. It's a great day to save lives. Asterisk how to save a life. Chasing cars starts playing asterisk. Say bye-bye to your pee-pee. You hear a scalpel clink on the ground. Then 5-second rule. This is the penectomy penis removal patient, right? Right. I love my penis. But it wouldn't be the worst thing to hear, because I wouldn't have known what it meant. Until now. Would probably trip me out though. Not as bad as if they were like, "This brave man is donating his still beating heart for that dying woman. Prep him for the transplant. The universe needs my penis, Beth." This really happened when I was 6. I kept my breath in so I could see what happens. Just so you know, this is not word for word. I just say what they basically said. The nurse, I assume, says, so, the right thumb, correct. They say this as they slice into it. The doctor, no, the left one. I ended up with a scar and stitches on both thumbs. Launches mobile game, better get my gold real quick. Let's hurry up. I got a golf game in 10. No, that's toxic gas. Or nurse, where's the doctor? Fire. Alright, boys. I'll bet you I can do this one left-handed. Come on, Frank, you did that last week. Oh, what? Are you suddenly unimpressed? Fine, left-handed and without my contacts in. Yawn. You know what? If you're going to take that attitude, I'm not going to do the surgery at all. How are you going to explain that to the patient? Frank, BAH. Whatever. Just make a cut, stitch it up, and bill them. That seems unethical. Ha ha ha. Admit it. I had you for a minute there. Oh, man, I tried to hold a straight face. Honestly. Yeah, but you always crack a smile when you're drunk. Alright. How about this? I'll do this surgery with my foot. You're on. The usual bet. Yeah, but can you break a 5? I don't have any singles. Doctor, please pull your pants back up. True story. I was getting surgery on my lung after it collapsed, and to calm me down they asked me what I do on my free time. I said I play video games, and one of the doctors in the room started to talk about how their kids are always playing Fortnite and how all of the dances are funny. At this point I was slowly starting to go under, and then some of them were trying to do the floss. That's the last thing I remembered. I was a little scared, but I think it actually calmed me down. Made me laugh before I went under. What's his wife doing in my office without any clothes on? Are you sure that was anesthesia? An unzipping zipper. What do you mean the surgeon is busy?